What's up, guys? Welcome back. The NFL playoffs are in full swing, and this appetizer deserves to be on your next game day menu. I'll be showing you how to make lasagna dip. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, guys, meet me in the kitchen. Let's make it happen. We got a good one for you today, and you know that because we're starting with roasted garlic. Anything that starts off with roasted garlic is going to be a fire recipe, and I can't wait for you guys to try this one. So go ahead and preheat your oven to 400 degrees. We're going to chop the top off the garlic like you see right here, peel some of the skin off, and then we're going to get out some aluminum foil, place that garlic on the aluminum foil, and then we need to hit that garlic with some olive oil, about a teaspoon or so, just to coat it, and then we're going to season it with salt and pepper or my all-purpose seasoning that will be restocked on January 25th, a little salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. We're gonna wrap that up nice and tight in that foil and then place that in a 400-degree oven for 40 minutes, and you'll have the most perfect roasted garlic for whatever recipe you wanna use it on. And now, my friends, it's time to finish the rest of our prep work. We got some red and green bell pepper, some onion, and we're gonna shred our own cheese. Today we're using cheddar and mozzarella. As I've told you guys before, I like to shred my own cheese because the stuff you buy from the store has anti-caking agents, things like potato starch to help prevent the cheese from sticking together, but it also helps prevent the cheese from melting nice and smooth, and we don't want that. So we're gonna shred our own cheese today, but if you buy it pre-packaged, no big deal. We're also going to add some fresh herbs to the party. Not those kind of herbs, guys. Don't get excited. We're talking about basil and parsley. Fresh basil and parsley, you could use the dry stuff if you want to, but fresh is best if you can get it. I know that the grocery stores are a little barren right now. We're going to roll up our greenery nice and tight, and then we're going to slice it into thin strips like you see right here. A nice sharp knife gets the job done beautifully. As always, guys, the specific measurements and ingredients are provided for you in the description box below, so don't forget to check that out. We're gonna do the same technique with our parsley, nice and fine diced. We're gonna add this to our cheese mixture later. If you wanna get real crazy, you can add some fresh oregano to the mix as well, but basil and parsley get the job done just fine. And now for our cheese mixture, you guys know how I feel about ricotta. It needs a little bit of help, so we're gonna add some boursin, garlic, and herbs cheese along with some sour cream. Another quick reminder that all the specific measurements and ingredients are found in the description box below, so don't forget to check that out. So in a mixing bowl, we're gonna mix all three of those together and really elevate the ricotta, because the ricotta by itself is pretty underwhelming in my opinion. That boursin, garlic, and herbs is delicious. It's really gonna elevate this dish. We're also gonna add some shredded mozzarella cheese and then some of those herbs that we prepped earlier, the basil and the parsley, along with some crushed red pepper flakes. These are optional, but I do like to have some spice to the party. Now we're gonna add in my all-purpose seasoning or a blend of salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. Also some dried oregano because I couldn't find any fresh. Dry will get the job done just fine. Get in there with your spatula and mix to combine. You want to taste as you go and adjust the flavor to your preference. This recipe comes together pretty quickly, guys. You can get all this done in less than an hour. It's super delicious, perfect for your game day appetizer table or for your next party or potluck. You just want to get these components right, so we're going to make sure that the cheese mixture tastes good. And now that we got that out of the way, it's time to talk about what we're going to use to scoop this dip. You got two options. You can use the lasagna chips that I'm about to show you guys, or you can make baguettes. I like the baguettes personally, but lasagna chips make this lasagna dip technically. And you guys know I like to provide some options. So for the baguettes, we're going to make some compound butter. Here we have a stick of melted butter. We're going to add some parsley to that along with some of our roasted garlic. Then you want to season that to taste. You can use a little salt and pepper, a little red pepper flakes if you want to add some heat. Totally up to you. Just get in there with your fork and make sure you mash up that roasted garlic. When you roast the garlic, it becomes nice and tender and soft, so it should mash up pretty easily with your fork at this point. Here you see we're going to go ahead and season it to taste. I'm adding a little all-purpose seasoning. I'm adding some red pepper flakes, adding a little bit more parsley for a pop of color. And then we're going to brush this onto our baguettes, pop them in a 400-degree oven for about 7 to 9 minutes or so, or until they're golden brown and beautiful. So take your serrated blade and just cut these into like 1/2-inch size pieces, whatever works for you. You can cut them a little thicker if you want to. These hold up a little bit better than the lasagna chips, and honestly, they just taste a little bit better. But both of them are fine, so you can use whatever you want. If you don't use the lasagna chips, I guess you could call this a pizza dip. Whatever you decide to call it, though, I guarantee you one thing, it's gonna be absolutely delicious, definitely a crowd pleaser. For those of you that wanna do the lasagna chips, we're gonna boil our lasagna just like we were gonna make lasagna. Salt your pasta water. Boil the pasta until it's al dente. Then you want to dry it off, strain it, and then we're going to cut it into chip sizes. So maybe like 1.5 inches thick or so, like you see right here. And then we're going to take them and place them in a mixing bowl, hit them with some olive oil and season them up with some all-purpose seasoning and some Italian seasoning. You can hit them with some grated Parmesan if you want to as well. Once you have them all oiled up, we're going to go ahead and place them on an aluminum foil lined baking sheet. Depending on how many you're making, you may need to use 2 baking sheets for this. Make sure they have some adequate space so air can circulate around them and ensure they get nice and crispy. Then we're going to season them up, place them in that 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes or until they're golden brown and crispy. And now that we got that out of the way, it's time to make our dip. We're going to heat our cast iron skillet over medium heat, add some avocado oil, and then we're going to add our veggies, the bell pepper and the onion. We want to sweat those down for a few minutes until they get nice and tender. Here I have 1 pound of ground beef and 1 pound of mild Italian sausage. For the pork patrol out there, you don't have to use the Italian sausage. You use ground turkey or all ground beef, totally up to you. Whatever you decide to use though, make sure you season it adequately. Here we have a little salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder going in. You want to use the back of your spatula to make sure you mash all this up and make sure that it browns up nicely in that skillet. There we go. Now we're going in with some of that roasted garlic from earlier. We used it for the butter and we're using the rest of it for our dip. Get in there and mash that up. Make sure that mixes well to combine. Your house is gonna be smelling absolutely amazing at this point. You got that roasted garlic in there with all those peppers and onions, the ground beef, the Italian sausage. Now we're going in with 1 heaping tablespoon of tomato paste. You wanna mix that together as well. Once everything is evenly mixed, we're gonna go in with 1 32-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. We're working over medium heat here. We just want to fold everything together. You want to season this as you go, taste as you go, and adjust the flavor to your preference. This dip is going to be absolutely delicious, guys. You also want to go ahead and strain off some of that excess fat. That way your final product isn't too greasy. So take the quick second to go ahead and do that. We're going to strain off the excess fat, throw it in that can, and we can just throw that right in the trash. Give that a good mix, make sure everything's coming together nicely. We're gonna let this simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. You wanna taste as you go. If it's starting to taste a little too acidic, you can add a pinch of sugar to balance everything out. As you can see here, I'm gonna add in a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes just for a little bit of heat, and I'm gonna add a pinch of sugar as well just to balance all the flavors. You don't wanna make it sweet, but the sugar balances the acidity that's natural from the tomatoes, and this kind of brings everything together. A nice meat sauce here. This is going to be a perfect component for this dip that we're about to assemble. Go ahead and set that aside. Break out your casserole dish. We're going down with our first layer of meat sauce. Then from there, we're going down with that cheese mixture that we made with the ricotta, the sour cream, the boursin, the fresh herbs. Tons of flavor in this dip, guys. I can't wait for you guys to give this one a try. Let me know what you think in the comments. So at this point, we're basically making a lasagna without the noodles. So you're going to continue doing your layers. We got the cheese layer, then we're going down with the shredded cheese. Then we're going to add more meat sauce, more cheese sauce, more shredded cheese. You guys get the picture. Tons of flavor in this one though. Leave me a comment and let me know what your favorite game day appetizers are. We have plenty more on the way as the playoffs continue and the Super Bowl is on the way also. So we're just going to continue layering this until we reach the top. You don't want to top it too much because you don't want it to spill over in your oven. Another quick pro tip is to place this onto a aluminum foil lined baking sheet. That way if you do have a little spillage, it doesn't end up burning up at the bottom of your oven because that's not fun to clean up. Here's our final layer of cheese, and then we're going to top it with some shredded cheese because why the hell not? Make sure we get a nice brown, bubbly final product. Oh man, this one is awesome. This is great for my keto folks too, minus the bread. There we go. That's what we're looking like after about 30 minutes in a 400-degree oven. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. There's our beautiful baguettes. And then there are our lasagna chips as well. Those came out great, nice and crispy. Here is the star of the show though. That's that lasagna dip, guys. Can't wait for you guys to try this recipe. You know we got to go down with some parsley for a pop of color. And so you guys will click on that thumbnail. The lasagna chips, we're gonna go ahead and give those a taste test. Those came out great, nice and crispy. Quick little cheese pull. Brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Oh man. A little too hot for the taste test, but what the hell, you guys know I burned my mouth for you guys more than once. This recipe is on the money, guys. Definitely give this one a try. Give your boy a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell to enable notifications. And as always, thank you for your support.